Okay, let's get started. Now we are discuss about literary criticism, the Poetics by Aristotle, Part 5. Comedy is, as we have said, an imitation of characters of a lower type, not, however, in the full sense of the word bad. The ludicrous being merely a subdivision of the ugly. It consists in some defect or ugliness which is not painful or destructive. To take an obvious example, the comic mask is ugly and distorted but doesn't imply pain. The successive changes through which tragedy passed, and the authors of these changes are well known, whereas comedy has had no history because it wasn't at first treated seriously. It was laid before the archon granted a comic course to a poet. The performers were till than voluntary. Comedy had already taken and definite shapes when comic poets distinctively so called are heard of, who furnished it with masks or prologue or increased the number of actors. These and other similar details remain unknown. As for the plot, it came originally from Sicily, but of Athenian writers, Crates was the first who, abandoning the iambic or lampooning form, generalized his theme and plots. Epic poetry agrees with tragedy in so far as it's an imitation in words of characters of a higher type. They differ in that epic poetry admits but one kind of meter and is narrative in form. They differ again in their length. For tragedy, endeavors as far as possible to confine itself to a single revolution of the sun are but slightly to exceed that limit, whereas the epic action has no limits of time. This then is a second point of difference, though at first the same freedom was admitted. In tragedy, as in epic poetry, of their constituent parts, some are common to both, some peculiar to tragedy. However, therefore, know the what is good or bad. Tragedy knows also about epic poetry. All the elements of an epic poem are found in tragedy, but the element of a tragedy are not all found in the epic poem. Part 6. The poetry which imitates in hexameter, verse, and of comedy. We will speak hereafter. Let us now discuss tragedy, resuming its formal definition as resulting from what has been already said. Tragedy then is an imitation of an action that's serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude in language, embellished with each kind of artistic ornament, the several kind being found in separate part of the play in the form of action, not of narrative, through pity and fear, affecting the proper purgations of these emotions by language embellished. I mean language into which rhythm, harmony, and song enter by the several kind in separate parts. I mean that some parts are rendered through the medium of words alone, other again with the aid of song. Now, as the tragic imitations implies persons acting, it necessarily follows in the parts plates that spectate Cullers. Equipment will be a part of tragedy. Next song and dictions. For these are the medium of imitation. By diction, I mean the mere metrical arrangement of the words. As for song, it is a term whose sense everyone understands. Again, tragedy is the imitation of action, and an action implies personal agent who necessarily possess certain distinctive qualities both of character and thought. For it's by these that we qualify actions themselves, and these thought and characters are the two natural causes for which actions spring, and on actions again. All success or failure depends, hence, the plot is the imitation of the action. For by plot, I here mean the arrangement of the incident. By character, I mean that in virtue of which we ascribe certain qualities to the agents. Thought is required wherever a statement is proud, or it may be a general truth unenunciated. Every tragedy, therefore, must have six parts, which parts determine its quality merely part character, diction, thought, spectacle songs. Two of the parts constitute the medium of imitation. One, the manner, and three, the objects of imitation, and these complete the list. These elements have been employed, we may say, by the poets to a man. In fact, every play contains spectacle uh, elements as well as characters, plot, diction, song, and thought. But most important of all is the structure of the incident. For tragedy is an imitation not of men but of an action and of life. And life consists in action, and its and in is a mood of action, not a quality. No character determines man's quality, but it's by their actions that they are the happy or the reverse. Dramatic action, therefore, is not with a view to the representations of character. Character comes in as a subsidiary to the actions. Hence, the incident and the plot or the end of a tragedy, and the end is the chief thing of all. Again, without action, there can, cannot be a tragedy. There may be without character. The tragedy of most of our modern poets fail in the rendering of character, and of poets is general. This is often true. It's the same in painting, and here lies the difference between Zeus and Polygnotus. Polygnotus delineates some character, while the style of Zeus is devoid of ethical quality. Again, if you string together a set of speeches expressive of character and well furnished in point of diction in thought, you will not produce the essential tragedy effect merely so well as with a play which, however, deficient in these respect, yet has a plot and artistically constructed incidents. Besides which, the most powerful element of emotion, interest in tragedy, peripetia, or reverse of the situation, and recognitions, these recognition signs or parts of the plot. Further proof is that novice is in the art attains to finish of diction and precisions of portraitures before they can construct the plot. It's the same with almost all the earlier poets. The plot then is the first principle, and as it were the soul of a tragedy, character hold the second place. A similar fact is seen in the painting. The most powerful colors laid on confusedly will not give as much pleasures as the chalk outline of a portrait. Thus, tragedy is the imitation of an action and of the agents merely with a view to the action. Third in order is thought that's the faculty of seeing with is possible and pertinent in given circumstances. In the case of oratory, that this is the function of the political art and of the art of rhetoric, and so indeed the older poets make their character speaks the language of speaks life. The poets of our time, the language of our rhetoricians. Characters is that which reveals moral purpose, showing what kind of thing as man chooses or avoids. Speeches, therefore, which don't make this manifest, or in which the speaker doesn't choose or avoid anything whatever, are not expressive of characters. Thought, on the other hand, it is found where something is proved to be or not to be, or a general maxim is enunciated. Fourth, among the element enunciated come diction, by which I mean, as has been already said, the expressions of the meaning in words, and its essence is the same both in verse and prose. Of the remaining elements, song hold the chief place among the embellishments. The spectacle has indeed an emotional attractions of its own, but of all the parts is the least artistic and connected least with the art of poetry. For the power of tragedy, we may be sure, is felt even apart from representation and actors. Besides, the productions of spectacular effects depends more on the part of the stage machinist than on that of the poet. Okay, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.